Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is the Russian bear is now pawing the ground. The paw is now striking if we can just listen to it. So I've got also a little bit of an explanation before we get started today. You see that our account got deleted. I dare not say the word. And I want to explain to you why. So here's what happened. July the 29th, we got a second strike, which happened about 8 days after the first one. And neither one of them were valid, in my opinion. Then we decided, okay, we can't take a chance on losing our channel, so we aren't going to post. So as of July the 29th, we stopped posting on this channel. Stopped it. Then our thought was, how can we violate the rules when we weren't even posting? Okay, how could we do something wrong when we did nothing at all? That's kind of like being pulled over and the officer gives you a ticket for running a red light, but your car won't start. You were sitting on the side of the road. How can you get a ticket for running a red light when you weren't moving? How can we get a strike when we weren't even posting? So that's our big... In other words, we were not treating fairly when we hadn't posted in 60 days, as a matter of fact. Not only that, but we went back on about 90% of our videos, going all the way back to January, and put them on private so that people wouldn't be able to view them, so that we would absolutely, positively not take any chance on violating any of the rules. Nevertheless, we still got a strike. So I'm asking you to pray that we get reinstated. And by the way, also I might add, sad to say, that ever since we got off of that platform, not by our own doing, donations have dropped a lot. So if God has blessed you and you believe in Prophecy Club, you want to help us to warn America, if you could help us, now would be a really, really good time. Please pray for us, but also if God's blessed you financially, that would be now would be a really good time. Also, I think it's important. Several people have mentioned that this is important that I say this, and I may even start out off every program with this, and that is we have active prophecies. I have 31 active prophecies saying that there are suitcase nukes in America. As a matter of fact, the best information is that there are 35 of them. And for that, we will send you to EMPShield.com. Promo code prophecy gets you a $50 discount. We have 14 active prophecies that say there's going to be a food shortage. And for that, we'll send you to josephkitchen.com. And you get a $50 discount if you use the promo code Prophecy Club. And we have 11 active prophecies say that the dollar is going to eventually go to zero, being worthless as leaves blowing in the wind. And for that, we'll send you to Cornerstone, assetmetals.com. Just say Prophecy Club when you call. It took me about 20 minutes to make these two loaves in my kitchen at an ingredient cost of about $12 each. In a time of food shortage and emergency, I'm going to cut each one of these loaves into 14 slices. Eat a slice in the morning, in the afternoon, I'll be satisfied. You want long-term food storage? You want to cut your food costs? Here it is. Eat 2 whole wheat bread slices daily for about a year for about $800 each. JosephKitchen.com's wheat berries come in a nitrogen-infused 7-gallon pail for long-term storage. Most other emergency food costs about $10,000 per person per year. That's right, about $10,000 per person per year. But at Joseph Kitchen, you could do it for about $1,000 per person per year. Now, to get started at josephkitchen.com, you're going to need a machines package. That's going to give you the grinder, the bread machine, the knife slicer, all you need to make bread, and then you decide how much food you want to get. You want food 6 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 2 people 1 year, or just one person for a year, all at josephkitchen.com. About $1,000 per person per year at josephkitchen.com. Use the promo code Prophecy Club. Get you a $50 discount. josephkitchen.com, promo code Prophecy Club for a $50 discount on your first order. Now, the Russian bear is pawing. I just read this yesterday, so I don't want to have to read it again. The point I want to make is here. So the small bear, the Russian bear, it says that it began to revive itself, and Russia has revived herself over the last 30, 40 years, and soon it became angry. Then it began to grow larger than the forest floor, continued to become angrier, so that, here it is, that it began to paw the ground, so that when it pawed the ground, the earth would shudder. Right now, the Russian bear is so big and so strong, when its paw hits the ground, the earth will shudder. And Jeremiah 51, I forget the scripture, I think it was like 51:9 or something like that, says that the earth is moved at the taking of Babylon, meaning when Russia launches all of her nuclear weapons, when they all hit America within 1 hour and take her out, so great riches would come to naught, it will apparently literally change the rotation of the earth, or change the, how do I say that? I guess the rotation, but it may be more than just its position in the solar system. I don't know how that works. God knows. Anyway, now let me get on to this. The point is, this Russian bear is getting very angry, and that's where I want to go with today's program. It's also important for you to know that there are some signs we should be looking for. Yes, right now we are looking that there could be a meteor, and I talked about that yesterday, that could be hitting America, even today. But I'm also going to show you some reasons why I think it, and I hope and I pray it's not yet. So April 15th of 2002, my wife, Prophet Leslie, had a dream where God spoke audibly to her. She was told that Arafat would go into the hospital. 2 years later, 11/11/04, he died in the hospital just as she was told. That validates this prophecy. Then she was told that Israel will give the Palestinians a state, but it would be a temporary measure to allow the Israelis time to strengthen their military, and oil will be discovered in Israel, and I think I know who's going to discover that oil. You're looking at him. I think it will be oil that will strengthen Israel's military. Now, that tells me that it's not time yet. The oil will make the Jews willing to fight for the Lamb, then Israel and America will go against most of the rest of the Arab world. Now, January 22 of 06, she heard these words in an audible voice in the night. This is not necessarily the order, but you should write down these newspaper headlines. If you want to know when America is going to be hit by the Russians, these are your best 7 headlines. Omer ushers in Palestinian state. We do not know what Omer is. We don't know if that's Ehud Omer. We don't know if that's the counting of the Omer. She only heard it, but you should write it down. Catastrophe hits America. We don't know, but my guess is it's probably an earthquake. One of America's greatest times of need, so America cries for the world to help, and her good friend Israel refuses help to America. As a result, the Arab nations see their opportunity. They attack Israel. Israel is attacked. America sends troops. Then chaos reigns as Americans protest help to Israel. So the heart of the Americans is not really to support Israel. That's the last bad mistake we do. When America turns against Israel, God takes us out. Then she heard my voice saying, it will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 of the countries will attack and defeat America in 1 day and 1 hour, so great riches will come to naught. Now, let's go to the headlines. This says, revealed, U.S. military bought mass monitoring tool that includes internet browsing and email data. You might be saying, what does this have to do with Russia? It has to do with the fall of America. It says multiple branches of the U.S. military have bought access to a powerful internet monitoring tool that claims to cover 90% of the world's internet traffic, and it's going to monitor people's emails, data, browsing history, internet cookies, just about everything. Of course, I'm saying I thought they already were, but they're getting more better at it. Now, let's talk about the internet. Let's talk about the meteor for just a moment. In yesterday's program, I said that it's reported that this new Prime Minister Lapid is going to go before the UN General Assembly, and he's going to say that he is for a 2-state solution. In other words, splitting Jerusalem and causing a Palestinian state. But I said, didn't know if he would. And we also don't know that if America is behind him, twisting his arm, making him do it. Well, here's the answer to that. In an agreement with the Palestinians, this is actually the Prime Minister speaking at the UN, this is his words. An agreement with the Palestinians based on 2 states for 2 peoples is the right thing for Israel's security, for Israel's economy, and for the future of our children. Now, I have to think that the Americans are twisting his arm to say this. Peace, now I want you to notice there's 3 times where it says peace. You remember, when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction shall come upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. I believe that has to do with Armageddon, not this point, but Daniel 9:27, as we read yesterday, says, he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. A lot of people think it will be a peace treaty, and sometimes I do too. So the point is, could it be that this two-state solution, the signing of that whatever agreement when it comes along, is the start of the tribulation? I'm not saying it is, but we're watchmen. So we're going to watch and see if it is. Anyway, he goes on to say, peace is not a compromise. It is the most courageous decision we can make. Peace is not weakness. It embodies within it the entire might of human spirit. War is surrendered to all that is bad within us. Peace is the victory of all that is good. Sounds real good, doesn't it? Problem is, it's splitting God's land. God did not give Israel nor America the authority to split his land. It's his land, not Israel's. It's his land. Despite all the obstacles, still today a large majority of Israelis support the vision of a two-state solution. I am one of them, he says. So, the question is God going to accept this as the splitting of Israel? I want to say no. I want to say that when the ink is on the dotted line. And then is God going to say that this is America twisting the arm of Israel to give them a state? NATO Intel classified as secret, being given to Ukraine, some has come into possession. Now, what this article is going to say is that America and NATO are involved in fighting Russia right now. We are at war with Russia right now. And frankly, if Russia were to attack America now, tonight, with nuclear weapons, they would have justification. What? No, wait a minute. If someone hits you, do you have the right to swing back and hit them? We're hitting Russia right now. That's what this article is going to say. America and NATO are hitting Russia. America is killing Russian soldiers. You remember, there was this big hubbub back when we were in Afghanistan that maybe the Russians were paying some of the Afghanis to kill American soldiers. Oh, that's terrible. Well, it is terrible. But in our case, we are openly killing Russian soldiers. The word is that, first of all, our military machine, we sent them billions of dollars of military equipment. And some sources are saying that also we have sent them military men. And also NATO has done the same thing. There's other nations that have sent them military men and equipment too. So in effect, we are attacking Russia right now. Let me say it again. We are attacking Russia right now. And if Russia wants to attack us and take us out, the rule of the street is if you get hit, you can hit back. So America is already hitting Russia. If Russia wants to attack us in a surprise nuclear attack and destroy America in 1 hour, as Revelation 18 says they will, they would have the right to do so, the law of the jungle says. So it goes on to say, military documents classified as secret from NATO have been revealed publicly, and they show the extent to which NATO is actively assisting Ukraine. Did you hear that? NATO, they've proven it now. NATO is actively assisting Ukraine with targeting information to kill Russian troops. So now, remember, I've been talking about if we had got two bullies in the parking lot, another guy is walking up to one of the bullies and handing him rocks. Is the third guy in the battle? Yes, he is. But what if he is telling him, look, here's how you need to throw the rock to hit him more effectively. Here's a bigger rock. Here's a better rock. Is the third guy involved? Well, that's what we're doing right now to Russia. We are involved in that fight. NATO is actively assisting Ukraine. I'll say it again. NATO is actively assisting Ukraine. I'll say it a third time or a fourth time. NATO is actively assisting Ukraine with targeting information to kill Russian troops. The release of these documents proves that NATO is, in fact, an actual facilitator of combat against Russia in Ukraine. What NATO is doing is actually causing Russian troops to die. I'll say that again. NATO is causing Russian troops to die. So, if NATO or America is attacked by the Russians, we can't sit there and say, hey, They did it without cause. Russia's going to say, you attacked us first. Do you see another way? That's the way it is. The documents below were secured by a criminal computer hacker working against Ukraine. The hacker group calls themselves Berkey or something like that. He goes on to give you a disclaimer, but let's move on. Here's actually a copy of one of those documents. Now, I don't exactly understand what this document is saying, but I can recognize the GPS coordinates. So this area in the green right down there, I thought that's a GPS coordinates. Let's see if that coordinates is actually in Ukraine. So I just pulled up GPS coordinates, and they have a place where you can fill in the blank, and it'll show you where that GPS coordinates is. I thought, I wonder if that's GPS coordinates in Ukraine. And sure enough, it is. I did not check the other two, but I think you already know. In other words, this is real. This is legitimate. NATO is telling Ukrainians where to drop the bombs that America and NATO sent them. It's our bombs. It's our, we're not pulling the trigger, but we're aiming the gun. I think that's a good way to say it. We're not pulling the trigger. Ukrainians are pulling. Of course, I don't know. It could be NATO or American pulling the trigger. But for sure, it's our gun. It's our bullet. We're aiming the gun, and hopefully it's a Ukrainian pulling the trigger. So is America innocent in this? Absolutely not. Now, hang on. Why would American leadership do this? Because they know that the Ukrainians, for the most part, are really Nazis. They know that the Ukrainians are some of the worst people. And again, I know there's some good Ukrainians. I understand. I've got emails about that. But also, the homeland of Moloch and Baal worshippers is Ukraine or Kazakhstan. They used to call them Kazakhs or Cossacks. Today they call them the Khazarian Mafia. All the same bloodline, all the same people. Underneath Ukraine, there's unbelievable underground tunnels that all tie into their underground. I can't even say it. I say we don't have freedom in this of speech in this country. I'd love to be able to tell you stuff I know. I'd love to be able to tell you stuff I know. I'd love to. So my point is, what is really going on? Evil Moloch and Baal worshippers in control of this country are trying to destroy America. Why are they trying to destroy America? Because America is the police officer of the world. We are the wall that is standing between them and getting their man, the Antichrist, on the throne. So they understand they have to take out America if they're going to get the Antichrist. If they're going to have their world government, they've got to take out America. How can they take out America? They don't. It's only about 1 million of them. But unfortunately, they are the 1% that own the 99%. They are the people that own the governments, own the TV stations, own the radio stations. They own just the big corporations, Disney and stuff like that. They own it. They own it all. But they don't have a military. So what they have to do is get in control of America and then get us to indirectly attack a nation that can take us out. And Russia can and will, the prophecies say, take America out. So what they're doing is destroying America by getting us to attack an enemy that can and will take us out. That's what this is really all about. Ukraine has used, this is going on with the article now, Ukraine has used this type of information over and over to attack and kill Russian army troops. Other documents released by the same group shows that the Russian electronic warfare gear and the counter-battery radar positions like, and it gives the positions. It gives 10 positions there. I haven't looked up those GPS coordinates, but they're probably all in Ukraine. Point is, NATO supplies such maps to Ukraine. They also include a detailed description of exactly is what at each location. So again, they send them the bullets and the guns. They aim the bullets and the guns. They let the Ukrainians pull the trigger. So are we in the fight? Absolutely. America is dirty in this. Of course, we're dirty because people leading our nation are dirty. So what can we do about it? The only answer we can do, my brothers and sisters, is pray. But That's very important because Jesus gave us power and authority over serpents and over scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing by any means shall hurt them. It's what comes out of our mouth that counts. That's the reason I'm calling you again. Right now, I'm speaking into the Spirit. I'm speaking into the air that everyone will come to. Of course, I guess this is going to be aired Monday, so I guess I'm talking behind the. So, all right, well, let's say you watch this and it's already passed. What do? You still got to pray. You can join us at fasttrack.com and pray for Prophecy Club. Pray for Prophecy Club to get to the sports stadiums filled with people giving their heart to Jesus. You can also join Fast Gap. This is where we fast and pray for America every Tuesday night from midnight until 4 p.m. the next day, and this is only praying for America. See, if you want to pray for Prophecy Club, you go to you go to prophecyclub.com, prophecyclub.com, sign up for Fast Track. If you want to pray for America, go to prophecyclub.com and sign up for Fast Gap, G-A-P, Fast Gap. Either one of those will get you praying to do something about this mess that America's in, and we are in a mess. In many cases, there are lengthy lists of military GPS coordinates, the type of equipment of each GPS point, thus giving Ukraine literally dozens of targets at a time to hit, and they've already sent them what to hit them with. So is America involved? For about the fifth time, I'm saying yes. Americans and Europeans need to understand this is not benign assistance to Ukraine. This is military, operational, and targeting information specifically designed to help Ukraine attack and to destroy by force the military of Russia. This violates the NATO treaty. I'll say it again. This violates the NATO treaty of which America is a part. We are violating our treaty with Russia. We're violating our treaty with the other NATO nations. We are in the error here. We have dirty hands. We have blood on our hands. The article says, this is Article 8, specifically from the NATO treaty. Each party declares that none of the international engagements now enforced between it and other parties, or any third state, is in conflict with the provisions of this treaty and undertakes not to enter into any international engagement in conflict with this treaty. In other words, blood is on American hands. Thank you, JB. Our hands are dirty in this matter. We are not clean, and if Russia takes us out, they would be right to do so. Let me refresh your memory. Dmitry was told the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America. My guess is what we could be seeing this weekend is an internal revolution. I do not know that, and I'd like to think that the good guys will kick out the bad guys, and I'd like to think that God would give us 40 more years. But whether he will or not, I don't know. But again, I'm calling you to come and to pray with us. I'm speaking to the Spirit. I'm speaking to the ear right now. Go to prophecyclub.com. Sign up for Fast Track if you want to see Prophecy Club win a lot of souls. Sign up for Fast Gap if you want to see America prosper and do well, and perhaps God will at least soften and delay what we can't pray away. Okay, Terry Saka, Cornerstone, assetmetals.com. Why should people be calling Cornerstone today?
I was actually watching an interview with a very powerful psychoanalyst, and he brought up Dmitry Duduman, and I was very impressed. I was like, Dmitry Duduman, that's one of Stan's main guy in prophecy. He was talking about cycles of market crashes and financial realignments. In the next 45 days, we are looking at such a severe possibility of a 40 to 50% market correction by design. And that will lead to an extraordinary opportunity to take advantage of gold and silver while it's at these low prices.
All right. So in your opinion, is it better that they get gold or silver?
Silver is very undervalued. The banks have to get out of the short position. So I think they're going to take it to this low as it is now. And that would be your best opportunity for return on investment, and definitely the easiest to unload when the time comes.
Okay. So how does it work? They go to cornerstoneassetmetals.com, and eventually, they're going to make a phone call, and they're going to set up an account, and then the money trades hands. How does that work?
Yeah, so they either register on our website or they give us a call. We'll walk them through their options. Once we have cleared monies into the account, we can actually get the product in line for shipment, depending on what you order. It could take anywhere from 7 days to 6 weeks, depending on what it is. But once you actually lock in that order, it is owned and it will eventually be there.
Now, what if they want to buy a whole bunch of it, but they don't have a place that they really want to store it? Can you store it for them?
Oh, that's a big one. We have a lot of clients that they go upwards to 7 figures, and it's obviously better to have 40,000 ounces in a private depository than it is at home. And so we find a lot of people do store in a private depository. It's independent, so it's not related to any part of the banking system. But the important part is when it's there, you can buy and sell it very easy. And because Cornerstone also has an affiliated account at that depository, we can literally transfer the assets right into our account and wire funds to you fairly quick.
Okay, so it's not actually physically held in Switzerland, is it?
I would never be holding anything in Switzerland. I think that's the epicenter of Satanism, right?
Okay, so it's Terry Saka at cornerstoneassetmetals.com, cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Go there, check it out today. Next is, I'll send you to EMPShield.com. If you use the promo word prophecy, you get a $50 discount. What is that? Well, it looks like this. This is the one that goes into a car, okay? And you put the red wire to the red side of the battery, you put the black wire to the black side of the battery, and the green one attaches to the body of the car. Then you peel it off right back here. Just peel that off, stick it inside of the engine compartment of your car, and the whole point is when the electricity goes off or when some kind of a suitcase nuclear device goes off, this is supposed to be able to stop that device from destroying every computer chip in your car. Because if every computer chip is destroyed in your car these days, you couldn't possibly replace them all. Throw the car away. So, EMPShield.com, promo code prophecy. Now let's talk about water. Cornerstone had a dream, and he said he saw headlines that said, entire communities poisoned through water supply. Reporters were telling people to drink nothing but bottled water or water they knew was not connected to the local water supply. It was affecting both larger and smaller communities. Boiling water was not an effective way of making any water safe. Leslie Johnson had a prophecy back in 2011. She says, the Lord says there's going to be something put into the water supply in many cities of the nation. So if you want it, we suggest you go to prophecyclub.com. You click right here where it says Berkeys. This is what it looks like. Currently, all Berkeys are in stock. The one I have is this guy right here. It's the Crown. It has 8 filters. I recommend you get as much as you can afford, and also recommend you get some extra filters. That's at prophecyclub.com.